Cheerio, chap. Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Kieran. And would you looky here? Yes. I dare say we've got an old-fashioned way to die on our hands. Created by Anastasia Malaysia. How can I page ya, darling? A hand-drawn, visual novel mystery of epic proportions, I'm sure. Let's get in and see who did. Hello? Detective Scott Catmore listens.
It's Chief Inspector. We got a call from our doctor that the old Baron Finehurst died this afternoon. The doctor's on call and can come to confirm the death. Could you go instead?
Yes, of course, sir.
Probably there's nothing suspicious. Maybe just an heart attack. He's quite an old chap. And moreover, when somebody important dies, we should check everything, just to be sure. Sound. I know that you can't make any conclusions about the cause of his death, and moreover, we don't have the resources to investigate each death, so just go there, ask the family a few questions about what has happened, but remember to be very polite with them. I don't want to get calls about your tactless behaviour. Those are very powerful people, and we don't want to get into any conflict.
I understand, sir. I'll do my best. He's certainly dead. Something about his face being ripped off and shoved in his anus. His skull completely caved in. Yes. Something tells me he's dead. I can't see any wounds on the body, which might cause his death, though he could have been poisoned. Guess I better ask if there are any other reasons to suspect that anybody wanted to kill him. I said that wrong, but I don't need to say it right. I'm a detective. Dang it. Click on the suspects to interview them. You can open brief notes and action menu by clicking on the icon. Alright. The dog did it! Who we got here? The oil tycoon, his gold-digging wife, the cutthroat matriarch, the damsel, the dame, and the guy who married into the family. We don't really like him, but you know, you don't get to pick your family, except for when you marry them. The dame was an idiot. The dame was a broad that day. Let's start with you, rich-looking sir. Could you please introduce yourself? Could you please tell me about the late Baron Finehurst? Baron Finehurst was my father. His death was such a shock. We are not quite ourselves. Of course, he was an old man and was after losing his temper and was drinking too much, but still, if not this heart attack, he could have lived another 10 or even more years. This is so devastating. I'll say. Oh, sorry, I didn't ask you. Can you introduce yourself? My name's Roderick Finehurst. I'm sure you have heard about me and my fluctuating accent. I prefer you confirm my father's death and let us to grieve alone. Oh, was there something I could continue there? I'll talk to you later. Sonny. Was there anything in these drinks here? Oh, hello, madam. Could you please introduce yourself?
My name is Susan Finehurst, and I believe that now my husband inherits the title, which makes me the Honorable Mrs. Finehurst.
She did it. Close the case. Tell me about the late Baron Finehurst.
I must say I don't like the fact that you're questioning me or the family as if we were all criminals. There is absolutely nothing suspicious in the death of Baron. He was an old man, and I don't want to hear even a hint of scandal. But since you ask, I'll just say that my father-in-law was quite an unpleasant person. Moreover, he was not managing his finances well, if you understand what I mean.
Hookers and blow, mostly.
I'm sure that after my husband will get in charge, the social status of our family will recover, and we will take a respectful place in our society.
All right, what about your husband?
Roderick Finehurst is my husband, and I believe now he became the Right Honorable Lord Finehurst. Finally, I must say. Of course, he has his own finances, but getting the title and the lands will help his career in politics. Moreover, there will be elections. That's why I absolutely don't want any scandal. I'd really appreciate if you just confirm the death of Baron and leave us.
As you wish, ma'am.
I tip my hat to you.
God, goodness.
Oh no, the detective dropped his hat.
There we are. Just do it. Perfect. And what about you, madame? Looking thick triple C, as a matter of fact. Are you thick with guilt? Can you please introduce yourself?
My name is Lady Augustus Chiswick, but everyone here calls me Chiz Swizzle. My dear husband died 11 years ago, and since then I live in this house where I grew up. Don't get me wrong, I don't have a money problem. My dear Augustus made some preparations to allow me to live a decent life in case of his death. It's just I decided to let my children live in the family castle without old me bothering them. But I still write them and visit them. Don't get me wrong, it's just there is something in returning at the end of your life to the place of your young years.
I understand. Weird tensions abiding by.
Now my dear brother passes away so suddenly, and there's somebody to talk about good old times. Even if Francis usually didn't want to talk about our childhood memories.
Well, you kind of did mention, but chat me up about the Baron.
It was all so awful. My poor Francis. He was my brother, Baron Francis Finehurst. Of course, he wasn't young, but it was all so sudden. I was telling him so many times to try to calm down, don't overreact. But of course, once he was getting angry, he just couldn't stop. It was a heart attack, right? Poor Francis.
What about that Roddy?
Roderick Finehurst is my nephew. He was the only son of my brother, the late Baron, and now he should inherit the title. He is always a very respectful man in our neighborhood. I'm sure you know it. You also must have heard he's running for local government, and everyone says that he's the main candidate. Though I suspect that the election is actually the idea of his wife, Susan. She's very ambitious, and poor Roderick is doing everything she wants. Don't get me wrong, Susan knows what needs to be done. She's a great help and advisor to Roderick, and now he gave her the title that she so desperately wanted.
And what about Miss Rod?
Susan is the second wife of my nephew. She's quite ambitious and trying very hard to get away in high society. Maybe it is not good of me to say, but she might actually be happy that my dear Francis passed away. Now she will get the title and try to look down at her friends in women committees.
Sounds like she sucks. High five. Talk to you later, ma'am. What about this fine dame over here? Seems to have troubles looking people in the eye. Introduce yourself.
My name is Nina Goodard. As you noticed, my surname isn't Finehurst. I'm not their closest relative. The late Baron was my granduncle, and after my parents passed away several years ago, I live here. I'm not married and probably won't be. You see, my parents were not rich, and after marriage I would inherit only a small amount of money. Moreover, I'm not the kind of girl that people notice at all. I'm not staying here because this is the most appropriate place. Of course, I could get a job and live by my own, but the family can't accept that.
You're the undervalued dame. I see you, girl. Tell me about Baby Fine.
It's so awful what has happened. You ask all these questions because you suspect it was not a death of natural causes? I hope it is just a routine formality. I'm sure I could ask you to get that cleared away, but I won't. I'll let those anxieties grow. But you know, I wouldn't be surprised if Baron poisoned himself just to punish us all. He was not a nice person. Baron was my granduncle. He and his sister, Aunt Dahlia, were taking care of me after my parents died. Well, he wasn't really taking care of me, only managing my finances. As you know, a young girl is not supposed to do it herself, even if she could, girl power. But I'd say that probably too many people preferred to see him dead. But it doesn't mean any of us would do it. If you're wondering if I had a motive, I'd say for me his death is not actually beneficial in any means. Now his son and son's wife will manage everything, which makes my place in this house quite uncertain.
So far I'm seeing exactly one person who benefits the most out of all of this. What about Chiz Swizzle?
Lady Chiswick is my grandaunt and my godmother. She was taking care of me since my parents passed away. She's like a mother to me. She's a very calm person, totally not like her brother, the late Baron. Aunt Swizzle is living in the house for several years. She moved here after the death of her husband, It was before I moved in, and I've never met Lord Chiswick. Maybe he didn't want to bother the family of his son, new Lord Chiswick, or maybe he was feeling nostalgic for the house he grew up. Or perhaps 'cause she missed Baron, who knew? Maybe at his younger age was a nicer person. Anyways, I'm not sure how good decision it was. Baron wasn't really treating her with a full sack of respect. A full girthy sack of respectness. Took over control of her finances. Lost quite some of her money and would probably lose even more if didn't die. I wonder what she would be doing now.
Okay, now these are the two people of true interest.
Roderick Finehurst is my uncle. He is the only son of the late Baron, who now he will get the title. Maybe you've heard he's participating in the election of the local government. Newspapers say he has a good chance, and I probably would agree. Death of Baron might even increase his chances, since now he got the title. Amazing how such things as title in front of your name can change people's opinions about you.
Yeah, like me, Big Dong Schwartz. You know, it's a tough thing to live with, but you just gotta accept it, you know? So Baron is his name, not his title. He's not a Baron, he is Baron. He has no kids.
Suzanne Finehurst is the second wife of mine uncle. She is quite snobbish, as those who are not born in aristocratic families and later entered the society. She is trying her best to make an impression that she was always part of the group. She's a skank hoe, and I hope she perishes soon. Despite we live in the same house, I don't often talk with her. She is always busy with women committees, organizing parties, making visits to her important friends. Probably now, after she will get the title and the house, she will finally feel happy.
Interesting. So, lot of you going on. How about you? Dork, can you please introduce yourself?
My name is Trevor Lofthouse. I'm just a guest in the house, not a member of the family. I'm not sure what I can tell you much.
Maybe better ask the others instead?
Shut up. Talk about the late.
Wait, why do you ask me? If you think it was a murder, I will tell you right away I have nothing to do about it.
I'm not expecting you to do anything about it, I just want to know about it.
I barely knew him. Of course, all the family hated him, but I think he liked me. You see, I have plans for his granddaughter, and I'm sure he would happily agree to this marriage. I am going to snatch that up real quick. Lady Chiswick is, I think, sister of Baron. She's a widow, and she stays in the house for many years. She seems like a pleasant old lady, always very polite. Maybe too conservative, as all people her age. Never puts out, but at least she understands that you can be young only once, and you should use this time for its best. It would be awful if she wouldn't let Linda visit parties. Sorry, I'm drunk.
Nina?
Who?
Nina.
To be honest, I don't know anything about her. I mean, who would talk to her when there's such a girl as Linda? You understand what I mean? It's hard to believe that they're relatives. Nina is a snack, and I will rock your jaw if you disagree with me. Gosh, I will fight you.
Oh man, my hat got all dirty.
That doesn't look quite the same, but it'll have to do.
And Roddy?
Mr. Finehurst is the eldest, and maybe I'm not sure. I ain't gonna say nothing, but son of the late Baron, so it makes him the new Baron now. Moreover, if he will get elected, it'll increase more the family's. I think he doesn't have any objectifications of me marrying his daughter. He's often quite busy. I didn't see him much.
Okay. Miss Finehurst has another second wife from Mr. Finehurst. I says she'd like to marry him. She's not quite from the high society, though I see she really tries hard, but she is thinking too much about money position. The rich don't bother to think about such things. Probably she would prefer that I would have a title too, but my family's bank account converses in perfection. So you're rich and you benefit nothing from his death. You benefit nothing, you benefit nothing, you benefit nothing, you two benefit a lot, and mostly you. I'm gonna ask this lady, but it's more of a, what do you call it? To be nice. Actually, what notes do I have? She's like, oh, ready to accuse someone of the murder, finish interview.
Okay, yeah, I'll just interview this last little lady and then we'll get on with it. Can you please introduce yourself?
My name is Linda Firehurst. You could just call me Linda. Friends call me so. I'd offer you a drink, but you're probably on duty, right? Maybe next time. Can I ask you all these questions? I don't see anything suspicious about the death of the Baron or grandfather. This is all so awful. It's like a broken record. Oh, this is so awful. Oh, this is so awful.
I get it. He's dead. You lost a family member. Let's move on.
It was my grandfather. It was a heart attack, right? Well, to be honest, no surprise. He's so easily getting irritated and so emotionally reacting to everything that I guess we all should have expected one day he'd be one to drop off the edge. Though I can't remember if he was particularly angry today. Probably it's not nice of me to say this, begging that he sure have just passed away. But he wasn't the nicest person. I'm not sure if he was not to anyone.
Chizzy?
Aunt Dahlia is actually my great aunt. My father is her nephew. She lived with me for many years. I think the idea of the grandfather. Oh, not sure why she agreed. Maybe she felt nostalgic.
Okay, I get it. She's nostalgic about everything.
Contrary to grandfather, she's a very sweet person. Never saying a bad word. Though maybe sometimes she should have been more strict, especially with her grandfather.
Trev?
Trevor, Mr. Lafayette, is a friend of mine. He's very charming and moreover, he's a good friend. Though I haven't met him yet. So I think there won't be any objections if he were to decide who proposed to me. Maybe I should mention that, since nothing is decided yet. But I really want to get away from this house. Stop listening to opinions of others, what they do and what not to do.
Oh my goodness. Linda, it's a good thing you're pretty.
No, Nina's not my sister. She's a cousin. She doesn't have a family, so she's living with us. Have you seen that hat she put on today? Straw hat. Gosh, no surprise she's not married. And I'm not sure if she ever will. She's not going to get London parties and just sitting at home spending time with books and dogs. I mean, she is a nice person, but kind of dull.
So all that I've gathered right here is that Nina is my dream lady. And the obvious clues.
Roger Finehurst is my daddy. Probably now he will inherit the title and take control over here with Nina. He's also running for some government position. I think the election will be sometime soon. I'm not quite sad about the death of his father now.
Should I stop?
They were not really close. Often they were arguing about how to manage the estate. Grandfather's death was certainly a shock for him. Susie's not my mother. She's my father's second wife. I'd say she's trying too hard to get into high society. No doubt she will ask to call the Honorable Miss Finehurst. So ridiculous. Her stars is something you were born with. You don't get about wearing fancy fur on a summer day. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if she would want to kill my grandfather. She was so impatient to get the title.
All right. I've interviewed all of you. Some of you incredibly suspicious, some of you incredibly irritating. Like you were a 22-year-old Canadian boy's impression of a ditzy woman from like the what time is this? Is this like the 40s? What time is this? What time is it now? Looking things over, motive and opportunity. Yeah, I mean, finish with motives and proceed to opportunities.
Wait, now am I talking to people for that stuff?
Oh my goodness.
So apparently Lady Chizsnatch is one of my suspects. I didn't really think she had a motive. Everybody hated the guy. Okay, you're my number one suspect. What happened to the party? Where were the others? Who was pouring drinks? Who was drinking what?
It all happened at the party just a couple hours ago. Since today our family was home, of course, usually I'm paying visits in the afternoon, not just sitting at home. Aunt Dahlia, Lady Chizzy, suggested to go through a little tea party in the garden. I've taken a place on one of the benches in the shadow. It's very sunny and warm today. I was drinking sherry. My husband brought it to me. We talked with him for a short moment about visits we need to pay next week. Then he walked a bit further to pay for a cigar. A bit further to smoke a cigar. It's very hard to get rid of the cigar smell out of my fur mantle. Aunt Dahlia was sitting nearby, drinking her tea. I think Nina was also next to her. I see Mr. Lofhouse was standing for some time next to the trolley, no doubt tasting a bit too much whiskey of my husband. And he approached my stepdaughter, and they was laughing over something quite loudly.
Then we all noticed it Baron suffocating. His face became red. He dropped the glass. We all gathered around. We was trying to help him. Suddenly he did. Of course, it was very awful. I guess now when you finally finish with your question, we can start preparing a funeral. The funeral. There's really a lot to be done. I need to organize everything before my friends so you are ready to leave here, right?
Oh, pimp smack, yeah. So you were off sipping cherries. What about you, Buster Brown? I don't trust you.
Okay, well, I will tell you. But let's get it over quickly. I don't see what for all these. My father just died, and instead of preparing for his
Okay, funerals. I don't know why he needs more than one, but you're getting closer.
we have to answer for your unnecessary questions. We were all in the garden. My Aunt Dahlia thinks that it's important to gather all together from time to time. She is an old lady. I think we should please her from time to time. Of course, my father was never in favor of such parties. He thinks it's a waste of time. Anyway, we all gathered in the garden and got our drinks. There was a trolley with drinks. It still is here. I asked servants to keep it. We all need a good drink after what just happened. I don't like cocktails, so I got myself a glass of whiskey. I'm quite sure Aunt Dahlia was having a cup of tea. My wife, Miss Fernhardt, asked me to pour her a glass of sherry. I don't remember what others took. I would have guessed Nina also had tea. And I think Mr. Lofthouse was considering to try my whiskey. It is very fine quality. After I gave my wife a drink, I went a bit further from the others to smoke a cigar, you see. My wife doesn't like the cigar smell. Then I heard some noise. I saw my father lying on the ground. I hurried to him, tried to open the top buttons of his shirt, just to give him one last purple nurple before he goes. But he already passed away. I believe now that was all, right, Inspector? Now you will finally leave us.
Motive, opportunity, and very eager to get away. You, ma'am?
Oh, my poor brother. How'd you know that this little tea party would turn out like this? I guess you'll never know.
You see, the tea party was my idea, and of course I knew the people would be drinking not exactly tea. You think that glass of martini was the cause of Francis' death? It is so devastating to think about. But being honest, probably he would be drinking today even if we won't be any party. I remember too, poor Francis was drinking martini. I was always asking him to try to avoid alcohol. He ain't young no more. But he was not listening to me. Every answer this afternoon, it was such a shock. But I will try to tell you what I remember. I sat on one of the benches enjoying warm weather. Oh, it seems so distant now. I remember Nina, dear child, approaching me and offering to bring me a cup of tea. I was very nice of her, and since she already gotten a drink herself, I think it was a martini. Hold on, what? I remember Nina, dear child, approached me and offered me to bring me a cup of tea. It was very nice of her since she already got herself a drink. And I think it is a martini. And carrying two things ain't that easy. She left and soon returned with my tea. What else? When we was all gathered around the garden, Francis was talking to Linda and as usual about to lose his temper. They was standing next to the trolley drinks, so I didn't hear what they was thinking about. Then Linda went and poured herself a glass of martini and went away from him. And I think till the tragedy she was talking to Mr. Lofthouse. Paul Francesca was standing next to the trolley drinking when all of a sudden he started to suffocate and fell to the ground. We all rushed to him, but it was too late. He passed away so fast. Oh, Lord, please give me a few moments to calm down. Yes, sir, ma'am. Well, yes, ma'am, sir. I mean... Is there anything you have to say there, darling?
Sure, I'll try to describe everything. I think it was the idea of my Aunt Dahlia to gather the garden for the afternoon to drink. Wasn't anything strange in it. We were doing it many times in the past, of course, when weather allows us. We were all in the garden. There was a trolley with drinks. Why you need to know who was drinking which cocktail? You expect very important? What a nonsense. It definitely looked like it was a heart attack. His face got red and he's suffocating. When he fell to the ground, my uncle, Mr. Finehurst, tried to help him. Tried to give him a little kiss on the chest. A little lick on the neck. Well, I opened the buttons of his shirt, touch his nipple, but it didn't help. Guess it was all just heat and alcohol. But if you insist, I was drinking a martini, and Dahlia was drinking tea with milk and no sugar. I made a cup for myself. I've seen Susan hold a glass of sherry. Mr. Lofthouse was drinking whiskey, and we had a few glasses. Oh, it's middle of the day. Probably Mr. Finehurst was also having a glass of wiggy. I don't know what Linda had though. Maybe a glass of martini or some other cocktail. Now, about where we were, before Bernstein feel bad, I was sitting next to Aunt Dahlia on the bench. Linda was chatting and quite loudly laughing with Mr. Livehouse. Susan was sitting on another bench nearby, and my uncle was smoking nearby. Then we saw the Baron is unwell and looked serious, so we came to him, but we couldn't do anything. It was so fast and sudden like the wrath of God.
Very well, darling, very well. And you, Lofty Goals?
Fun. It all happened there in a garden. There's some kind of small party. All family members and me. Let's see. Oh my lord, I have so much to tell you. When I came, I noticed a very fine bottle of whiskey sitting on a trolley. No doubt put there especially for Miss Finest. Mr. Finest, Linda's father, I mean. I poured myself a bit. The smell was indeed rich. Since Linda was still talking to her grandfather, poured myself another one. Then Linda took a glass of martini and went further in the garden. Then Baron approached the trolley, started making himself a martini. By that time, I remembered the girl. The one in the straw hat. What was her name again? Came by, put down a glass, poured a cup of tea, then left again with the glass. I got myself one more glass of Miss Finest whiskey and joined Linda. I just started to tell a very amusing story about which happened during the last car racing. Where my friend... Yes, it's not important now, but it was a very funny story indeed. Anyway, we heard some noise, saw Baron lying on the ground, breathing heavy. He didn't even know what to do. I was about to run to the house to call the doctor, but then he died. We decided to call the doctor anyway. Probably you came instead of him to confirm the death of the Baron. I think that's all I can say. The old man died in the middle of a party of a heart attack. One of you said that she had tea, but probably. So that doesn't seem like a condemning detail to me, at least.
So often to think about. We were having a little afternoon drink in the garden. It wasn't supposed to be anything special, just an afternoon cocktail. When I came, I talked with Grandfather for a couple of minutes as usual. He was in a bad mood, so I took a drink. It was a martini with green olive. And then was talking to Trevor, Mr. Lofthouse. I think he had one glass bit too much. Well, it was a party. We were just having an easy chat. He was telling me one of his funny stories. Actually, I've already heard this one, but decided not to mention it to him. Others were here in the garden. Aunt Dahlia was sitting at her usual place in the shadow, drinking her usual tea. She was always doing the same. Nina came wearing a straw hat. If we live out in the country, Dad, we're dressed like peasants, right? She was sitting next to Dahlia, and probably dogs were near them. My stepmother, I think, was drinking sherry and wearing this fur mantle on such a warm and sunny day. My father was smoking in the distance. Probably he was drinking whiskey. Then we heard the grandfather doesn't feel well. He seems to struggle to breathe. His face became red and he fell on the ground. His glass and some other stuff from the trolley fell to the ground. My father tried to help him. I asked Trevor to run back to the house and call the doctor, but there was nothing he could do. He just died a few minutes later. It's all so horrible. No doubts now, it will be in my nightmares. I can't imagine how you can have such a job seeing dead bodies every day. Well, even dead every day, it's still awful.
So, I guess I could be looking at this. The trolley, I imagine. Though that's not a trolley, that's just a table. I mean, it doesn't sound like anybody... Well, I mean, shoot, I'm gonna ruin somebody's life today, so let's go for it. Hacha! I accuse you, Linda Finehurst. Oh, crap, wait, no, not you. I accuse you! Which one were you? Miss Roderick Finehurst. I'm really hoping you're just having a bad sense of humor, Inspector. I think you might have forgotten who you're talking to. My husband, the right honorable. You're gonna give me, I don't know. Here the end of scandals. What you doing? Did I screw it up because I have to talk to them all? Do I need to make connections of motives? Hold on.
It's either that or it's the quiet dame in the straw hat. That's who I'm gonna go for. Nina. Dang.
There's not a lot of pop and circumstance for this. What to do? I've got it! I have to go in and accuse everyone. Let's get it on. I accuse you, Pikachu. I accuse you. Okay, Lofty. You know, maybe this game is just misleading. Wow, that just ends the game. Not gonna lie.
I would like a bit more pomp and circumstance. So it's none of them? Or I have to go through the whole game to try and figure it out? I'm confused and I don't understand. But that was 40 minutes of some very fine investigative work, if I do say so myself. And I don't have the time or the interest to keep going. Let's assume that they all did it and give everyone the chair. Actually, I think it was the dog. The Chihuahua. The Chihuahua was the forceful violence in the situation, and that bigger fella there, he was the brains. So there, case solved. Well done. If you guys believe that someone did actually kill them, then go to the link in the description and tell me who it is. Or tell me who you think it is. And then confirm it for yourself. I might pay you. Probably not. In fact, I won't. Well, I guess that's that then. A bit anticlimactic, if I do say so myself. Hold on, let me do one really quick. Maybe I just need to talk to everybody and they'll be like, yeah, she sucks. Susan had motive. Okay, I've got that now. Miss Roger. Dang it! Yeah, I got no ideas. So if you guys have ideas, go to the link in the description and test them out. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, leave a like. And if you like what I do here and you want to help me make people happy for a living, then please subscribe to the channel. But of course, as always, I love you. And I know that you're the one who killed him.